Hey Nigel, riddle me this. What happens when a populist party takes advice from the person that crashed the UK economy and the person who brazenly lied to the public and helped guide one of our most hapless prime ministers through a pandemic? Don't worry about the answer, this is the answer. We get a press conference like this, where you celebrate the fact that reporters ask you how you're going to pay for these amazing tax breaks and benefits you're going to give people. You celebrate the fact that you've established a UK Doge for your councils. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when Elon Musk said Doge was going to save trillions, saved 160 billion, even that's contentious, but because of all the court costs involved in trying to roll some of those changes back because they're just completely unworkable and positively dangerous, it's already cost them 135 billion in legal costs. You speak about there being a brain drain in the UK. Judging by your deputy leader on the Durham Council, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. Look at him, he's adamant he's not going to get educated. I'm always amazed how many people believe that raising the basic rate of income tax to 20,000 benefits the poor more than the rich. However, let's put that aside. You've never explained where we're going to find the 50 to 80 billion pound that's going to cost us. There's something perverse in the media coverage of this, isn't it? Because they celebrate you, encourage you to think that you're going to be the PM, whilst also telling us at the same time you have no financial credibility. In fact, it's the Times, who again regularly celebrate you, actually expose the fact that when you're seen in the working men's clubs just being one of the lads, it's invariably a private event full of reform activists. Although you took it a step too far yesterday, didn't you? When you were so keen to be cosplaying as a working class bloke at the working men's club, having a drink and watching the racing. That'll be the racing that actually was taken off air nearly 10 years ago. You talk of scrapping net zero, but you fail to note that actually it's going to make us a lot of money. In fact, your entire narrative around net zero and what you think scrapping it would save us is really clueless and relies on the fact that your members, the people in the cult with an L, don't do any research whatsoever. Because if they did, they'd realise that actually it's private investment that's driving net zero, not the government. As for the populist, the asylum seeker accommodation, you've never actually said what you're going to do with those asylum seekers that are currently in the hotels, because they're in the hotels because the Tories created a backlog. They created a backlog which has fed populists such as you, whereas if we just process these people, we wouldn't need the hotels. But you've never made that case. Instead, you say we'll deport people, but you can't deport that many of people straight away. Therefore, where are you going to house them and how much is that going to cost? In other words, the nodding dogs at the side of you and behind you, nodding along and agreeing with you, are either as clueless as you, or they're deliberately misleading your members. Either way, it's not very good for Britain, is it, Nigel? Anyway, good chats, as you were.